Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the final positional ranking. Brain
Final
farted there.
one.
The final one before the draft. What a draft season. We're still not done, but here we are in the official, the final lap of the Indy 500,
Yep.
Pittsburgh 500, I guess, because it's in Pittsburgh. But Ben, are you ready to talk some safeties?
I'm very ready to talk about safeties. Yes. Yep.
I also because it's in Pittsburgh, it's a tangent. But also because the Pittsburgh is the draft. Have you gone back and looked at when teams make picks in their own city, they they pander. They pander
They
to the
pander.
crowd. Because I was just looking at the last three have been Golden to the Packers. The Lions traded up to get a corner, Terry and Arnold. And the Chiefs had just won the Super Bowl and took FAU, the Kansas State guy. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying Pittsburgh could pander, guys, and the Ty Simpson chants are gonna get loud.
Yeah. Well, and then you talk about who the Eagles selected in 2017. Let's not talk about that one. So,
Oh, that was
anyways.
in Philly. Yeah, I was just going off super
Yeah.
recently,
Yeah.
but
No, I'm almost certain that was
yeah,
Andre Dillard. No.
no,
Oh
Dillard
no, that
was
was Derek
Dillard.
Barnett. That
Yeah,
that was Derek Barnett. Oh god.
yeah. I was gonna
Oh,
say
I would,
I
dude.
know this story.
Speaking of DBs,
He's still
I was
playing.
so yeah, he's still playing. I was so convinced that Sidney Jones was gonna be like so good, and then he popped his Achilles and was never the same. But I digress.
Yep. There's our tangent. All right, so
Yeah.
safeties. I have a million, dude. Um, I have one guy in my nickel category, and then I have 9 ranked. But
Mm,
so I'll go through some of the guys that you did not have ranked, kind of
yes.
just best of the rest here. Number 9, VJ Payne out of Kansas State. Just elite size, rangy long speed to make someone drool, as I like to put it. The
Me.
physicality, pop at the contact point. It's desired from someone at that stature. Like the length is just incredibly impressive, and he uses it. He uses it to really clog the catch point for all types of receivers, running backs, specifically tight ends. His battle against Michael Trigg, very impressive. But his concerns are his actual literal strength as a tackler. I think a lot of guys were
Mm.
moving forward into him, and he didn't stunt them. And if he can get his body out of the way, like he's sometimes too big and too long, that it feels in the way and will force penalties. Another guy I had was Jalen Kilgore at 7 from
Yeah.
South Carolina. South Carolina guys. So he's kind of projected as a nickel. I see him as a safety. He's
Okay.
incredibly gifted athlete, length, tools, the ceiling to desire, movement skills in space, the production this past season. The biggest fear is I don't know where he fits, so I put him at safety. Like as a nickel, I think he's tripped up by short area releases. As a box player, I think the instincts and the reaction is just not fast enough. That I feel like it is too fast for him. Where someone like Emmanuel last year, I called Emmanuel a box player, kind of used it as a derogatory. Ended up being right because he basically was a box nickel, played close to the line of scrimmage. Everything within the 10 yards, Nick Emmanuel was awesome at, and he ended up
Yes.
showing that in the league. Kilgore, I don't know. There isn't this uber strength that I'm. He's great at this, but as a run defender, when he got over his skis, like stack and shed situations, cutback lanes, overrunning, it's all projection with this guy. So he's 7 for me. Again, don't love it, but I think the
Hmm.
athlete it's even more incredible than even Cisse. It's not quite,
Mm.
Emmanuel-Warren's
Mm.
like 10.000, but I think the athlete. And then lastly, Bud Clark out of TCU played a lot of football. Older, athletically gifted, rangy safety. He has over the top burst, has great catch up and recovery speed to make plays on the ball consistently. His ball skills when he would get to the catch point looks like a receiver. 15 interceptions, 21 PBUs are no joke. Sometimes to his detriment, to where he is a little too ball hockey. So like that's where I compare him to like lofty expectation, but like Kirby Joseph with the
Mm.
Lions, where it's like sometimes you're way too over your skis to go get that. You are falling for the double move. You are getting burned because of it. Sometimes you're mistiming jumps because you're so over eager to show off your ball skills, like and things like that.
Yeah.
But he needs to get better consistently as a tackler. I think it's still hesitant on, if he's an overhang like free safety center fielder, I don't have too much worry as a tackler just because there's not going to be a lot of times outside of like last line of defense he's going to be really demanded to be this tackler because I think he funnels lanes pretty well, but
Yeah.
overall, Bud Clark, older player, he was 5 for me. I really, really
Oh
liked
wow.
him in comparison to the consensus. But those are some names to shout out that I like you
Mm.
mentioned, did not have. But who was someone you
Yeah,
wanted to talk about?
man, Bud Clark was one of those guys that like I just didn't get the chance to watch due to time constraints, and I just
Yeah.
really wish I could have. No, I mean really quickly, three guys, and I'm sure you can offer definitely on two of them some more thought about it. But the first guy, Genesis Smith. I mean, the quick write up I have for him is he's a great zone safety. He uses his length at the catch point, and he can stride out. But man, he is not agile, and he has no interest in tackling anyone. He just
Yeah.
doesn't want to tackle. Um, and then Zakee Wheatley out of Penn State. He has the speed and length, has a great trigger, but he needs to be more physical both in the run game and in the pass game. He has the frame to do it. He's just not. And then finally, Michael Taff. He has great coverage instinct and IQ with really good hips that allows him to be one of the better cover safeties in the entire class. But he's going to be hampered by his small frame and his speed. And you can't be small and be slow. You can be slow and be big, or you can be or you can be fast and small, but you can't be both. And he's both. But those are the three quick write ups. But I know for a fact you can offer more insight on Taft. So
Yeah, I Taff is interesting because I think in the ways that like he did really put an imprint on the defense at Texas. Like when he was out, you really felt it late in
yeah,
that season, this past season. But overall, I think you put a nail on the head. Like it's really hard to make a bet on a player that is tiny the way he is and isn't an overly explosively quick player. Like I think he's got some twitch that he flashes when he sees it right, but
mm-hmm.
down to down, I think it's the Malachi Moore situation with
Yeah,
like Alabama
yeah,
last year. And Malachi Moore played a ton of football this year for the Jets, so
yeah,
the Jets aren't good, but I think someone just dropping him in and having a good rookie contract player in the 5th round, 6th round for Taff, I see it. Uh, Zakee Wheatley at Penn State, uh, very instinctive, reactive player. Great feet when closing space as a pass defender.
mm-hmm.
I feel like he's not really no wasted movements, no wasted steps. Um, Plays his best in zone. Athletic limitations are shown, but his own like feel for concepts and developments, he just looks like a very intelligent, studied player. The contact, Like when he gets to that point of contact as a tackler, I think he loses most battles in the physicality department. But again, for someone like VJ Payne, I'm disappointed that you lose that battle where Wheatley is not as big. I think they're both very. I think like Payne's like 210, Wheatley's like right at the 200 lane, and his
Mhm.
long speed. Like I think the 4.6 does show up. I think it is real.
Yeah.
And then Jonathan Smith, um, long athlete, excellent range, instincts to be a great overhang safety. I think my favorite stuff with him is like putting him in like a man match quarters defense. Just
Mm.
because I think he has really good transition skills to get into that stuff, to cover those crossers and things like that. But the physicality, playing through contact, tackler, angles, whatever, it
Yeah.
just, and then like the biggest thing and why he's six and could be lower even, and I bet he's lower on like coaches. Everything felt like half ass. Everything
Yeah.
felt like when he's closing on something, it was just like I don't have too much. Like someone else will get him to the ground, and it's like, dude, like they're gonna be even bigger at the next level. Like they're gonna be even bigger and be even faster, even stronger. So interested to see where he comes in. A lot of Kalen Bullock is comparison thrown around, where that
Yeah.
was something that like I really liked Bullock. So yeah, I think there is benefit to those comparisons. And then you didn't do Stooks either, right? So I'll do
No.
Stooks really quickly. I had Stooks at 3 on my nickel board. Didn't have him as a pure safety. Older but explosive athlete, closes space like a freight train. He's instinctive when finding the ball. 20 PBUs in his last 3 seasons, 4 interceptions. But his biggest issue to me is like I think technically he values just being like this. I'm gonna hit you and being very aggressive. That you overrun things pretty often, but everything else in the downhill department is something to desire. But I think
Yeah.
Stooks is someone that I really, really like. I'm interested to see where he goes. A lot of these nickels are in that older category, or like Pons' case, if you project him as a nickel, he's uber young, but he's so tight and small. So interested to
Yeah.
see how these guys get drafted. But that covers most of the best of the rest for me. So
Hmm.
we're into the top four, the top 50 players.
Top top four for you. My fifth guy was Kamari Ramsey. Uh, Again, the big thing with Kamari Ramsey is he needs to go to the right scheme. Like if he gets into a zone heavy Vic Fangio scheme, he's gonna thrive.
Yeah,
But he has to go to that type of scheme, and if he's not, it's gonna be really, really, really bad. Um, he does a really good job of having good zone IQ, jumping short routes. I think he is physical at the catch point, and I think it shows when he's covering tight ends. And the big thing for me, and it's kind of the way I described it. I told you before we had hit the play button here is he does a good job of like sifting through the garbage when he's doing zone in terms of like hey, like I know this dude's like technically in my zone, but I know he's not going to stay in my zone. Like I don't have to
yeah,
worry about that. Like he's fine. He's going to get passed off. He doesn't need my attention. So he does a good job of just sifting through the garbage. And again, that's a really telling for how good his zone instincts are. Um, the big stuff for him is his lateral agility really shows whenever he's asked to man up against someone. That's going to be his big downside. Along with his speed on vertical routes, he struggles to carry stuff over the length of the entire field. And then he's just really hesitant in the run game, like hesitant to fill a
yeah.
gap. It's like he's a half a beat short sometimes, and then he's just not always the most physical when in run support as well. But again, if he's gonna go to a Fangio scheme, I think he's gonna be great. But he has to go to Fangio scheme.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm My biggest thing with him compared to the other guys is like I don't see the versatility that many see just because like I don't see him as a strong safety kind of guy just
Yeah,
because I think the run fitting is just so like outlandishly bad to me.
yeah,
I think he just slow dissecting things downhill
yes,
and near the line of scrimmage. Like he's not a nickel, I'll just say it like that.
yeah,
Um, and then once those like kind of those shifty route runner kind of guys, like imagine him trying to again maybe it's not fair, but like you put someone like Makai Lemon across from him, you know, I'm just doing the USC thing, just
I was
to
gonna
do it.
say I'd like to
Like
see that tape.
I'd be like, oh, it's really hard for me to think he's going to stay in phase, but that's why he's not up here. But the 24 stuff as a cover player, I do understand why there are fans. But let's get into the top four. We both likely have the same fourth. AJ Haulcy out
Hmm.
of LSU. Just the way I put it, bulky, compact, old school safety, full read of the field when he is in top down, when his eyes are facing forward in phase. It's pretty good. The instincts and body
Yeah.
control were on display in coverage, had real production, 10 interceptions over the course of 4 seasons at 3 schools. But the biggest thing to hold back on him is like the long speed. I think it's just when things get, he gets overwhelmed when things get over the top of him. So I think he
Yes.
is that within 15 yards kind of strong safety where, kind of a flat defender kind of thought is where I picture him thriving best. But what did you see from Halsey?
No, exactly. No, I think you covered everything great. Again, his ball skills are amazing. I mean, 10 and 19, as you said, over the last, 3, 4 years for him. Um, Again, he's thick, he's big, he knows how to use it, especially in the run game. He's a plus run defender. Yeah, and he has a really good zone feel. But as you said, like he's stiff. He does not transition very well from his back pedal, which again really raises some concerns about his ability to carry routes down the field. He's super, super effective when he's working back to front. And when everything can stay in front of him and he can just look at what he's seeing, he's great at it. But as soon as he's asked to do anything behind him, that's when the concerns start to arise a little bit. But again, as long as everything stays in front of him, like he is really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of projection on like can he handle like those vertical threat tight ends? Like what does he look like if he's manned up on like a Colson Loveland?
Yeah.
That's I think that really determines the ceiling if he can be a real deal tight end eraser guy. Just because if he plays at the weight that he did, I know that there is a lot of fluctuation. Like he weighs in at like 210, 212, something like that at the combine,
Mm,
215, and he definitely played over that. Like I think he played in the high 220s. So
yes.
interested to see what the weight he carries at LSU. Maybe it was an LSU thing. Maybe it was like I just Brian Kelly wants him bigger. I don't know, but that was something that I was interested in. So I went back and saw some Houston stuff, and the length didn't really bother me too much. He's
No.
I think the interested to see what he does against tight ends. I think that's the biggest concern I have. And then we get into next player. Who do you want to talk about first?
Now,
You
see,
pick. You
these
pick.
two are me pick. These players are so close for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
S-
in theory, the better grade is to McNeil-Warren for me.
mhm.
Uh, but it really just depends on which player suits your fancy because they are very different players. But they're both very good players. Um, I'm gonna do the McNeil-Warren thing just because I love him. Again, he's the kind of player that I tend to fall in love with. Um, he's a very lengthy, big frame tight end or big framed safety that allows him to be a really good matchup against tight ends. Like I don't have any hesitation. Just be like, all right, go cover the tight end. You do that, and we'll figure everything else out. I don't think he's like a top like track athlete, but I think his football athleticism is very, very good. I think he's a fluid athlete with quick hips, allows him to snap into spots in the zone and transition and break onto routes. I think he's very aggressive around the catch point. He's always around the ball. Always, always, always
Yep.
around the ball.
Disruptor.
Yeah, he's a disruptor and like in all caps, like he aggressively fills run lanes. Like he with just reckless regard to his body. Like he just does not care. He's a lot of fun in that way. The main concern for me is just he finds himself too flat footed when asked to man up against like a shifty wide receiver, which raises a little bit of concern. And then like this again, now we're being a little bit more nitpicky. I'd like to see him add weight. He has the frame to do it. Can we add like an extra 5 to 10 pounds and like really make you into like an elite box safety? Like that would be a lot of fun if you could. Again, you start. I will see if it starts affecting your fluidity as an athlete. Um, but again, he's just a guy that has a nose for the football. He's around everything. I've he's just again the type of player that I tend to absolutely fall in love with. But your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's a just very
Oh, and
leggy
he's not super
athlete.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah, the long speed is. But I don't think that's ever going to be challenged with where they deploy him.
yeah,
Just a very leggy athlete. The range in the pass game shows on tape. Like he's just laterally always disrupting the football and disrupting its
yeah,
path to the receivers. His hands are excellent when it comes to just making loud splash plays. 9 forced fumbles, ain't a joke. I think that's a big thing that I've learned from scouting over the course of time is like some of these guys that have it down on how to make these splash plays no matter the level, that follows, that tracks.
yes,
And
yes,
so those things that I just I value more and more as I do this more and more. He had some diving interceptions as well. Um, but I think the biggest things to me is there's just too many times those shifty ball carriers in space, he just gets overwhelmed, and it feels
yeah,
like a lot, which is weird because like his missed tackle rate early in his career was really good, but this past season, I think it just it flashed more and more. Those shifty and what I like to describe creative runners really
mm-hmm.
gave him fits when his feet were flat. So that's my
Yeah,
biggest thing. Like McNeil-Warren, and it's why I hold him back on from being like safety two and even like a first round player, just because I again that's also position related. But um,
sure,
I like him better than even Worry last year, and I've told you that privately. Like I think
yeah,
there is a level to the football player that I admire more. That I think there is better range, and Eamon Worry felt like a lot of these South Carolina guys, where it's like athlete playing, trying to learn football, and if he learns football, it's going to be great. McNeil
yeah,
Warren feels like a ready-made football player for whoever gets him. Interested to see like they traded for him at the deadline, and of course it doesn't work out. But like him with the Steelers next to
mm,
Ramsey and filling the Kyle Duggar role because they traded for him. I think that makes a ton of sense to me. I'm very
yeah,
interested in what that would look like. That's kind of where I project him. Um, like that's where I have my fun with trying to find a landing spot. But
yeah.
again, interesting draft range. Like it's a weird draft.
10 over.
So yeah, okay, yeah,
No, yeah, he's fun. I'm to your Nick Emanwari point, and again, this is a
because that's going to
conversation.
be the comp. Like and
Yes, yeah,
I've seen some Justin Reeds because of the scheme versatility. I don't think he's as scheme versatile as Justin Reed. I think Justin Reed with the Spags thing, you could throw him anywhere and you could play him at overhang safety. Like where McNeil-Warren, I think he's just that strict strong safety tight end
yes,
guy while also just playing everything top down within 20 yards. Similar to Haulcy,
yeah.
but he's just much better at finding the football in like side to side range.
Yes. Yeah. No, but to the Nick Emanwari point again, you have him higher than Nick Emanwari. For me, it would have been really difficult to do that just because I was in love with Nick Emanwari last year, um, and he might not like testing numbers wise, might not be quite to that level, but like when you turn on the tape, he it looks better because he's a more fluid athlete than what
Mm-hmm.
Nick Emanwari was. Like Nick Emanwari was he was stiff and he just didn't know and on tape I think a big part of it is it just felt like he didn't know what he was doing, and I think that that contributed to it. Um, versus Warren, it just seems a lot more fluid. He might not have like that top end athleticism that Emanwari did, but he's just much more of a fluid athlete than what Nick Emanwari was coming out.
The other thing with him that I'm interested to see how this progresses is how much bigger does he get? Because he's a lean 200 and then he
That's what I'm
weighs
saying.
in at 215 at
Yeah,
what is it at his pro day. I'm like,
yeah,
where did this come from? Whoa. Like and so I'm really interested to see what kind of I don't want to like rigorous, but someone's going to bring him in and say, "Hey, like we want 10 pounds of added muscle and like see where
yes,
he goes." Just because like I think there is a weight that he could get to where he is just and he looks the imposing part to be this tight end eraser while also being this downhill force. So I'm
yeah,
really interested to see what happens with this player. And again, like I have a predetermined notion going into it where it's like, okay, oh, he gets his hands on the football. He's big and long. Okay. But like he is much more coordinated football acumen
yes.
wise than I was even thinking. So interested. Very interested to
I'm
see what he
I'm
guys.
so happy that you got here because I know like 2 months
Yeah.
ago I'm like Nicky Minwari and you're like safety six and I'm like "Bah." but anyways, yeah, no, he was my safety two, your safety three, I'd imagine at this point, so I will let you get into your safety two, who is my safety three.
Yeah. I had Dillon Theinaman. I've been pronouncing it as Theinaman. It is Dillon Theinaman. So I got course corrected there. But just very scheme versatile, major production in 3 seasons. Like just read off some numbers at Purdue and then Oregon: 306 tackles, 10 TFLs, 16 PBUs, 8 interceptions, all while being this downhill thumper, all while being a straight up like nickel, a over the top overhang safety. Like he can do it. He showed it everywhere. He has great balance in the open space to just
Mm-hmm.
always keep himself right for when he's going to contest these like the throwing windows and zone. I think he can run with any kind of archetype in man coverage. He closes in the run game specifically like through traffic. Um, I think like through traffic, he knows how to like use his size to get small and like sift
Yeah,
through that things at the line of scrimmage and even like within 5 yards when zone blocking is getting up to his level. So I'm interested in that. But the biggest thing is like when he's not a bursty player when it comes to like coverage. Like I think those quick twitch routes, quick twitch like off out routes give him trouble. I noticed that multiple times, but with Thieneman, I there's a lot of boxes checked, and I get why he's going to be a top 15 player for me.
no, absolutely. Again, he's great. I mean, in terms of, I second all the great things that you said on him. I think the reason that I'm slightly bit lower on him, and I like hesitate to say that because I think he's a great player. Um, is his man coverage ability on like longer developing plays. The longer that he has to be in man coverage,
Yeah.
the worse it got for him. And that's why I'm like, ah, where it came a little bit tricky for me. And for like a guy that's like as impactful in the run game, and again, we're being nitpicky here, as a guy that's as impactful in the run game as he is at times, his block shedding was not always the best,
Hmm.
especially obviously against offensive linemen, but
When
even
guys got
some
their
bigger.
hands on him,
Yeah,
he always had
yeah,
to be
even
moving in the run game.
yeah, yeah. He always had to be moving because when you're bigger tight ends, wide receivers, and then obviously offensive linemen got to you, it was bad. He was out of the play. But again, I mean, he's a smooth athlete that like can deploy anywhere that you want him to, and really has the true speed, fluidity to be like a sideline like safety. Um, and if need be, in his home, like may might be nickel. Like it may just be nickel, and I like hate to do that, but like he's like again he can deploy anywhere. So I wouldn't be shocked if he just like develops into like one of the best like nickel players in the entire league. But he's again can do a lot of things at a very high level.
Before we get into Downs, the last thing on him, I think to compare to someone like McNeil Warren, how I'm glowing about how he could get bigger. There's a world Theinaman is just like he might be physically maxed out. Like he
Tapped
might be
out,
just
yeah.
capped out at like he's 6 foot 210, and it's like ooh, that's interesting. When I'm sitting with the guy who's 6'3", 215 over there, who's even
Yeah,
longer, and even like there is still a level to tap into from like a ball production standpoint, specifically the fumbles. But
yeah.
I'm very interested to see where he goes. I again, there is no hiding the Vikings mock draft love, and even it sounds like they have love for him as a scheme versatile player, and makes sense
Mm.
from Brian Flores' standpoint.
Oh,
I really
absolutely.
think I really think whoever drafts him is dropping him in with a certain skill set in mind, and I think he's going to be great at it. So again,
Yeah.
these scheme versatile Oregon safeties, man. I just can't get them.
Well, they got
Um,
another one.
but we got number one, draft safety, our final eval of the draft season. None other than think about this. He's the final Nick Saban safety. He's the final Nick Saban defensive back. That alone, he's not
Mm.
going to fail. But I'm talking about
Yeah,
the one and only Caleb Downs. Uh,
yeah.
Caleb Downs, from the moment he stepped on Alabama, was incredible, dude. Freshman All American, and I think he
Yeah,
won first team All SEC. Then he leaves because of the retirement of Nick Saban, and it's like, well, players like this don't hit the portal often. Thought he was going to Georgia. He goes to Ohio State and just gets even better. Um, but the biggest thing with him to me, I can talk about like how what he is as a downhill player, top down, uber intelligent, reads the game like a chessboard. He just feels like he is always looking to see what the next move is, and he knows where to go. My biggest thing with him that I loved more than anything, he never takes a down off. He is always moving as hard as physically possible, and
hmm
that's going to translate to the next level. A guy
yeah.
with all the physical gifts that he has in terms of like just intelligence and just moving and closing windows and closing space, the effort that he gave, and that makes me believe like I think there's a lot of people talking about like the ball production isn't great, and that's true, but like what more did you want? 6 interceptions over the course of 3 years at the highest level, and he's just always around the ball. That I feel like that's gonna get even better. And I'm
Yeah.
not the first to come up with this point either. Like this is, I think there is a like it'll get better at the next level too. So, but before we dig deeper into the safety conversation of can you draft this player, what were your thoughts on Downs as a prospect?
I mean, simply put it, I mean, the quick write up I have for him is he's a supercomputer that has the athleticism to go with it. I mean, you touched on the you know the always at 100%, which is awesome. But like, I am not being hyperbolic when I say this. He is the fastest processor I think I have ever scouted. Like his ability to just see something and just go while also thinking like 5 steps ahead all at the same time, um is just very telling. And then like, I'm barking up the wrong tree. I mean, you had you had seen it in full force, Texas versus Ohio State. Again, he's about the only safety I think that could have made that play in that
They tossed
game.
him the side of the football field, dude.
Yeah, which why are we doing that? But no, I again, he's the fastest processor that I think I have ever seen. He has great hips and lateral agility to stay in phase at all 3 levels. Like I think he has the coverage ability to be like a cornerback one. Like that that is how great his coverage ability is.
Yeah.
Um Again, he reads the quarterback's eyes to break on the ball really quickly. He's an excellent run defender, takes on the blocks, and is a great tackler. That like the one knock that I have for him is like, you look to lay the boom more than like form tackling sometimes. Like sometimes just make the tackle. You don't always have to make
Yeah.
the big hit. But like that's it. And now like I guess maybe you have like a knee issue, but like that's so hard to speculate on because it's just like as people who don't have
We'll
that
know about that
information,
more when
it's
he's
just
drafted, and that's like the part that sucks for like evals for us. But behind the scenes, teams know, and when
I
he's
mean it's the Will
like you think
Johnson
about
from
the
last year.
there you go. I was just about you beat me to the punch. Like yeah, it's we talked about the Will Johnson thing, and NFL teams told us that the Will Johnson thing was concerning, and he was still a pretty good player early in his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Downs, man. I like again. It's I think the other aesthetic is like he's just a cool football player. Like I think that's the other part. Um,
Yeah.
I just I it's really hard to see him fail. And when we're doing this draft
Yes.
thing, it's really hard to pass on the guy that's you just don't think is going to fail. And that's where it gets weird in this draft, folks, because he's a safety. And thinking about some safeties over the course of the last decade, and thinking about guys like drafted in the top, like what I stretch it to like 11 because of one guy in particular, but like Jamal Adams is one that comes to mind. Um, my favorite comp for him is like if he just becomes Minka, and like
Yeah.
Minka was this similar, but Minka had uber efficient ball production at Alabama. Like I think one of the seasons he had like 8 interceptions, and he
Yeah.
then transforms that into the next level. So how high can you take a safety, Ben?
Well, and that's again that's where it gets difficult because I mean when you talk about positional value, you're like it's a safety. Like how much can you value that? Which like for the most part it's not very high, but Caleb Downs isn't just another safety, right? Like he's at that next level of player. Um, and it's so tough because like Hamilton was there too, and Hamilton still like, and I don't want to say like fell because he was a top 15 pick or whatever, maybe 15. Um, but so like falling is like a tough word, um, but it's just it's tough because I would take him in the top 10. He's my third best player in this class. Um, I'm very
I
confident
love that you
of
mentioned
that.
that because that plays into it. It's like the only guys that go top 10 in the last, since the the Texans' emergence is Roy Williams out of Texas, Sean Taylor at 5, who
Mm-hmm.
he has his career cut short. Eric Berry, who I believe won a Defensive Player of the Year, and Adams, who I just mentioned, who again, he was so good at one point with Jamal Adams. I know it's revisionist history about how bad he was over the course of like the end of the season, like end of his career. At one
Sure.
point, Jamal Adams demanded 2 first-round picks in his like age 26 season. So
Yeah.
that reached a level to where he was that good. So again, like I feel like teams have had a pretty good success of like when they draft these safeties high, there is this level of he's
They're
not a
that
bad
good.
football player and he's
Yeah.
going to be top 5 at the position. But it is a part of like the value of the contract. It's like would I rather again, I keep coming back to this name and you're going to disgust. But it's like if he's on the board with
Don't do.
Keldon Farmer,
Oh no.
it's kind of one of those things where it's you're just naturally inclined to take the swing because of the contract value of the whole thing with if I get
He's
this right with the
such a
edge rusher.
better player than Keldrick
I
Vaughn.
know. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm just but I keep coming back to it. I keep thinking about it. He makes me think more than any prospect
Would
in
you
a
take an amazing?
while. No. No. I think I'm officially it. Like if he's the pick at 8, I get it. I understand it. It's the Saints like the G League team is Ohio State and it's been for a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it. But I'd get over
Mm.
it. I'd get over it just as I do with
Yeah.
Cody
Yeah.
Banks when he's
Oh,
on the
for sure.
football field. And I just
Yeah.
said he's one of the coolest players, but it's like I wouldn't like it in the moment. And that's
Yeah.
a weird place to find myself just because of how
Yeah.
good I think he is. Like he's 4th. He's 5th, yeah. He's 5th.
There you go. I mean, I've been vocal. It's been Ruben Bain for me at 1. For me, it's Ruben Bain, Love, Caleb Downs. Like, and it's like, and again, organize the those 3 Ohio State players in whatever fashion you want, and I don't think you're wrong. Like, if
Yeah.
you tell me Sonny Styles is the best of them, I get it. If you tell me Arvell Reese is the best of them, I understand that too. Um, I don't know. I don't see a world in which you select Caleb Downs and you regret the pick. I just don't.
Yeah.
So
I mean it's so fascinating just because of like just again, we've gotten the NFL specifically has just gotten so much smarter with drafting this position.
yeah,
But then we have this most recent season where I I feel like his role was overinflated just because of how loud he was as a player. I feel like the defense brought him up to a level, but like Emmanuel is so imposing in these big moments. Um, specific like I'll always think back to like he took over a drive against the Rams in that championship game
yes,
where he made a run stop and then he made a play on 3rd down where it's just so loud, but like Starks goes 27 just going through like drafts of recently. Um, but again, it takes a special safety to take them this high, and he's in that category, right?
I was gonna say he's I
Yeah,
I hate to say he's worlds better than Starks, but he's
yeah, he's yeah.
yeah. I guess here's a fun question, not to make it all about Caleb Downs. Uh, Starks or Theaman?
Ooh, I think Theinaman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Again, maybe it's recency bias just because I know what I can see, but yeah,
I tend to lean that way.
that's a good one. That's a fun
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
But no, I've been thinking a lot about the safety,
Yeah.
safety specifically, and where it's like, where is this gonna go? Where does it get to a point where this is stop this? This is too low.
This
Like,
is too
is it Dallas
far.
at
Yeah,
12? You know,
it should be.
and even
But
there,
again, it's so tough because like if we're looking at the player at face value, 12 is where his like the farthest he should fall to. But then you're like, well, maybe he doesn't have any cartilage left in his knees 4 years from now. So you're like, so it's tough. It's I'll do the rest of the league a service to take him at 23, I guess.
How how good of you.
Yeah,
The
very
other thing too is like
selfless.
safeties also. I also want to preface this, like, people screaming at the monitor, like, safeties don't go this high as well because teams are more inclined to take conventional rebuilding patterns of, like, the
Yes,
premium
yeah, sure.
positions. So again, like, it's really hard and that's why, like, that 8-9, it makes a ton of sense because you think about it.
Yeah,
Staley has experience with Derwin. Spags has experience maximizing his safety. Imagine putting a player as desired in this position. But yeah, I think at this point we've exhausted all the safety points, but
yeah.
that we can. But that is it, Ben. All
That's it.
positions have been ranked. You can go back. I'll link the playlist even to every
Yeah.
positional ranking that we have done this draft season. So much fun. Thank you for sticking around with me once again, Ben.
Oh,
Another
so much fun.
successful year.
Yeah.
But any parting gifts as we end the safety episode?
Oh, geez, I don't know. No, it'll be fun. I mean, I mean, it'll be fun episodes. I mean, two more mock drafts from us. Before the draft for sure. Next week's episode will probably we'll piece it together. Next week's episode might just be like our favorite players or something, but something will be out. But it'll be fun and another great year of scouting.
There
Again, this
might be
draft
some more
class.
downs, like not downs specifically, but downs like discussions where it's just I'm emptying the notebook, things I think about with this
Yeah,
draft because this draft ain't like a lot, folks. I'm
that's what
I'm
I was gonna
telling you,
say.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you right now, there is gonna be no consensus, and this is not as someone who's like I'm plugged in and I'm listening to everybody who says something. There's gonna be some picks that we're all going, whoa, he's like 53rd, but it makes sense when you piece together like. So I think a lot. I'm just for right now. If you're not a draft head, but if you're watching this video, you're likely a draft head. But if you're not a draft head and you're looking at it going, oh my God, this guy's 38th on the consensus board. He just went 16 to the Jets. This doesn't make any sense. Just keep in mind, a lot of these guys are going to be very alike. And it's kind of a,
yeah,
what's your flavor, as we always like to do in the draft community.
yep, exactly. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
All right. To close it out here, make sure to like, subscribe, comment your favorite safeties, and stay tuned for once we officially hit the off season in a way, because I think this isn't the off season. This is
Yeah,
draft
it's not the
season.
off season.
Once we get
Yeah,
into the off season is when it's hot outside and it's summertime and there's no draft in sight. But that is all for us. Thank you for sticking around. And that's it.